What do Martha Reeves and the Vandellas have to do with Witzend? Where do I start? It was the 90s. I was in London, where I lived most of my adult life. And Kevin, my best friend, and I used to frequent this crazy little underground bar in Soho, which was literally underground, and catered to a fantastic mixture of black, white, gay, straight, young, old, working girls, working boys, you name it. And there was this fantastic little piano player whose name was Eric Robinson, and he would bring up different singers from the audience. So by the end of the night, we'd all be harmonizing and hollering and dancing around the piano and just having a great time. So Kevin and I and our friend Susan decided that we would try to recreate this atmosphere in a more organized, less debauched format. Decided on the name Singers, made a little neon sign, and started off in a little Soho club called Ivory's. We brought in Eric to host and play piano, and later we had Frankie Farrow hosting with Sammy Flynn on piano, and they were really key to the success of the night because it was their job to create a relaxed, uncompetitive atmosphere, which was the only way the club could work. Look at my face. Now, at that time, I had just finished a recording contract with WEA, and I was working as a session singer, singing jingles for Maxwell House Coffee and Bacardi Rum. Plus, I had written songs for Air Supply and Roger Daltrey, so I knew a lot of the top singers and writers in town, and of course, I would invite them to the club and do my best to get them up to sing. Well, soon the word got out, and after a few months, we were packed every Monday night. The owners of the club were selling loads of liquor, so they asked us if we would do Friday nights, and then we added Saturday nights, until it was clear that we needed to move to a larger venue. We eventually found this amazing ballroom in Mayfair called the Hanover Grand. So we went back to Monday nights only, and soon we were packing in, I think, about 600 people. And then, of course, record companies discovered us, and they would come in looking for new talent, and we soon became kind of an industry hangout. I remember one night, Kevin and Susan ran up to me and told me that Martha Reeves and the Vandellas had just walked in the door with their entire band. And sure enough, by the end of the night, they were all on stage, performing, dancing in the streets. And the three of us just stood at the back of the club in disbelief, watching hundreds of people singing and dancing along with Martha Reeves, who I think was 60 at the time, and still just fantastic. Later, we were lucky enough to have had Paul Young, Bobby Womack, BB and CeCe Winans, Aaliyah Adams, Karen Wheeler from Soul to Soul, and Victoria Wilson-James. I can honestly look back and say that those were some of the most exciting times of my life. However, at that time, animation, my other big passion, ended up taking me to Los Angeles, where I eventually relocated and started my own little company called WIT Animation. And over that next 10-year period, we went on and produced dozens of animated TV commercials. And this, in turn, enabled me to buy my own building here in Venice. Now, this is where it all starts to come full circle. About 2 months after I bought the building, these two middle-aged guys come knocking on my door, and they tell me that they used to come here in the 1970s when it was a nightclub called the 4-H Club, and that Jim Morrison and the Doors used to play here, and that the late, great Gregory Hines was the lead singer in the house band. And I think that was probably the moment that I decided, you know, I think it's time I get back into the nightclub business.